inviting me to be here. Thank you to the Referral Partnership. It's nice to walk in and actually see a wonderful dear old friend. Mike Hamers and I used to share office space together. I've been in Boulder since 1976 when I came here to go to graduate school. So what I'd like to do with you first is ask you a question. But in order for you to answer this question, I'm going to take you on a journey. And to do that, I'd like you to all get comfortable in your chairs with your feet flat on the floor. And close your eyes. And I want you to take a deep breath. A deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and exhale. Take another deep breath in, fill your lungs, fill your belly, hold it, and exhale. And then I want you to journey back in time to when you were a child and you're with your best friends. And you're in your favorite place. Maybe that was a park. Maybe it was a playground. When I was a kid, we used to hang out in my girlfriend's finished basement. So you're with your friends and you're all sitting in a circle. And you're laughing, you're having a good time, and one of your friends says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I want you to answer that question. Maybe your one-word answer, maybe you like to talk a lot as a kid. But what's your answer to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Then, when you're done, when you've answered that question, I want you to thank your friends. Thank them for listening to you. And then I want you to thank your inner child for sharing your dream. And then, slowly but surely, what I want you to do is take one more deep breath in and hold it for a moment. And exhale. And when you're ready, come back to the room. So, what was your answer to the question? What do you want to be when you grow up? Or maybe you still want to be that. Who wants to throw out some answers? Debra.
A world traveler and write about what I see.
A world traveler writing about what she sees. I like that one. Anyone else?
Teacher.
A teacher.
I knew at 12 that I wanted to be an architect.
Great. He knew at 12 he wanted to be an architect, and that's what he's doing today. Anyone else?
Healer.
A healer? A healer. Well, you're in that track. Well, can I share with you what I wanted to be when I grew up? I wanted to be an actress. And this is me in the 6th grade in The Music Man. I played the role of Amaryllis. If you remember the movie, she was the little girl who played the piano and had a crush on Winthrop, the little boy who had a lisp. Now, unfortunately for me, I applied to the High School of Performing Arts, and they turned me down. So I said, okay, now what do I want to be when I grow up? Well, then I wanted to be a model. And so I actually did some modeling locally here and there, but when I went to New York modeling agencies, you see how tall I am, what do you think they said to me? They said, "You're too short." So unfortunate for me, I listened to them, and I tucked my dreams away. However, I now say, never say never. So I don't think you'll be seeing me on the Hollywood stage accepting an Oscar for acting, and you probably, with the exception of this picture, won't see me on the cover of a fashion magazine. You might see me inside because I'm a writer. But the point is, I am living my dream. Because I started my business in 1989, and here it is, 26 years later. And as a result, what am I doing today? Speaking. Well, I'm not on a Broadway stage, but I get to stand in the spotlight. I get to connect with people face to face and look at them in the eye and smile. And so I am living my dream because I also had the beautiful good fortune to live here. This is the island of Kauai. This is the Kalalau Valley. And it was a gorgeous, magnificent, magical place, and I still call it home, as well as beautiful Boulder, Colorado. When I returned to Boulder from Kauai, people said to me, "Why would you leave paradise?" Well, look at where we live here. It's paradise. And I'm very grateful because I was born and raised in New York. So I call those 3 places home. And as a result, I am living my dream. Now the question comes up, Debra, how did you do this? You've been in business for 26 years. Besides that making me feel really old, people want to know, how did you do that? Well, it came from a concerted effort to market myself and to keep marketing myself, to be consistent and persistent. So my next question for you is, what does marketing mean to you? When someone says you need to market your business, what do you think of?
Social media.
Social media. Anything else? What are you doing to market your business? Expensive.
Communication.
Communication. Can I share with you what marketing means to me? You want to see my demonstration? Here is what marketing means to me. Hi there, Gary.
Hi.
My name's Debra. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Great. Do you live here in Colorado?
I do.
Are you originally from Colorado?
3rd generation.
3rd generation. Were you born and raised in Boulder?
Really?
In Greeley. Well, we'll talk more about that. Hi there, Rob. My name is Debra.
How you doing?
Do you live here in Boulder?
Close.
Close. Okay. Does that mean Louisville, Lafayette? Longmont. Now, I could go all the way around the room doing that, but what do you see me doing? Connecting. Thank you. There's the magic word. And personal, I think I heard someone say. So here is what marketing is to me. What do you see in those pictures? Connecting with people. Marketing is about building relationships. Okay. You don't want to be a business card collector. You want to be a connector. I went to an event, and this woman was online. She said, my goal tonight is to hand out 50 business cards. 50. 50. Do you think she connected with anyone that night? No. So here's my advice. You go to an event. How many people do you think you should connect with? What's your goal?
3.
3, 2, actually 1. 2 or 3 is good. But when you spend that time talking to one person, don't you think you're making a connection? And you're developing what I call the Klt Factor, which is the know, like, and trust. So if you think about it, the people that you will send referrals to or leads to are people that you most likely know, like, and trust. The people who do business with you are those people who know, like, and trust you. So what I'd like you to do is write down 3 ways that you can establish that know, like, and trust factor. And I'm going to share some with you now that do not cost you a lot of money. You do not need, I think it was this year, it was $4 million for a 30-second Super Bowl commercial. Okay? So here are some ways that you can do it. One simple step you can take that leads to referrals and new business, and you're actually doing it by being here today, and that's being involved in a professional organization. Now, my caveat on this is you don't just join. I was a member, I was very active in the Boulder Chamber of Commerce. When I started my business, I chose 2 organizations to get involved in. One was the Boulder Chamber of Commerce, because it was Boulder, and that's where I live. The other was the Rocky Mountain Direct Marketing Association, because I am a copywriter, and I wrote direct marketing pieces, direct mail, and catalogs. So I picked an industry and a location. Now, I didn't just pay my dues and sit back, and I've heard a lot of people say this, go, well, I joined the chamber, but it hasn't done anything for me. Okay? What you need to do is, there's the card, the one I was looking for earlier. Be a connector, not a business card collector. But you also need to get involved. So I joined the chamber. I spoke at their brown bag lunches. I was the chair of the small business committee. I was the chair of the business women's leadership group. Eventually I sat on the board of directors. Now, when my phone rang, and Mike said, Debra, Jackie told me to call you. Now, I had never done any work with Jackie, but Jackie and I maybe sat on the board of directors together, and she got to know, like, and trust me. So when Mike called her and said, I need a copywriter, she said, oh my God, you'd love Debra. I love Debra. Give her a call. So I got that referral without having done business with Jackie, just because she knew me, liked me, and trusted me. Same thing happened at the Rocky Mountain Direct Marketing Association. Okay, I spoke, I served as their newsletter editor, I was on their board, and eventually I was their president. So keep that in mind. When your phone rings, when you've had that time to get involved in organizations, somebody on the other end of the line may not know you. They may have been referred by Rob. They may have been referred by Jack. And maybe you never did business with either one, but you knew them from the referral partnership. And they gave your name out. Just this morning, Debra Sue asked me if I could refer her son to somebody on Kauai. There's lots of people I know on Kauai who I know, like, and trust, who know, like, and trust me. So hopefully, I don't know her son, but if I get to know, like, and trust her enough, sure, I'll pass along that referral. So keep that in mind, because if you just join 2 organizations, that can lead to more referrals and new business for you. Now, you're here at the Referral Partnership, but where else could you go? Where else is some of you networking? Nowhere else?
Rotary.
Rotary, that's a great one. Optimist, Lions Club. Yeah, there's a whole list of places that you can go to connect with people. And keep in mind, it's about connecting. It's not about that business card collecting. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have business cards and don't give them out, because when you're somewhere and someone says to you, gee, I really need your services, how can I reach you? It's great to hand over that business card and say, here's my number. And here's another little tip. I have this, and it's in my book. Take the business card. A colleague of mine does this. And she says to someone, how do you like to connect, Brian? Do you like to connect on Google+, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter? And depending on what Brian says, she folds down a corner of that business card to indicate Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. And then she connects with that person. She connects with Brian the way he wants to connect. So that's a great little tip that I think is fabulous when you're out there and you're networking. Here's my favorite way to market yourself, is to speak in public. As I said earlier, it's a great way to connect with people, to look at them in the face, to smile, to see them eye to eye. But while you're doing that, you're also building your visibility, and you're increasing your credibility and your authority on your subject matter. So if you're in the banking business, I think we have a couple of bankers here, you can talk about 5 tips for getting approved for a small business loan. 5 ways to market your business cost effectively. If you're in the mortgage business, you can talk about 3 ways to avoid foreclosure. You can go out and talk to Rotary groups and Kiwanis groups. I think that's one of my next slides. All these places that are looking for speakers. How many of you like to speak? How many of you want to speak, but you're afraid to get up there? We have a few hands even going up hesitantly. Go to Toastmasters. Okay? That's a great resource for you to get up there and to practice. And they give you wonderful feedback. And don't be adverse or take it the wrong way when they give you that feedback, because they're there to really to help you and to help you get that exposure and to help you gain your confidence, so that when you get out there, you can really speak and speak from authority and with knowledge and feel good about what you're sharing. So offer to speak in public, because it's a really fun way, especially a lot of you raised your hands, that you like to speak. So of those who raised your hands, what do you like to speak about? What's your topic?
I talk about financial stuff.
Financial?
Marketing, but it's how to, it's kind of like what you were saying, but I go about it a little differently, how to get the essence of what your business is and your target audience. I like to talk about reading the minds of your target audience.
That's a great thing, is understanding who your client is. That's a whole nother presentation. That's really important, is to know who you're talking to. Another visualization that I have people do is to pretend that you're in Starbucks or at Vic's Coffee or at Moe's Bagels, and somebody in line right in front of you is talking to the cashier and just complaining about their day and all the things that went wrong that day. the challenges, the problems, the issues. And you're standing behind that person and you're thinking, I have a solution. My services would really benefit this person. I could really help them. So the visualization is to sit down across the table from them and let them vent. And then you offer your solution to their problem. Now when you do that, when you're done, take a pen and paper and write it down. Because what you'll have then, for those of you who want to write your own content, you'll have some great bullet points on how to approach your customer so that they resonate with your message, so that they go, yes, I want to do business with Kate. She understands my needs. I'm so frustrated with this house buying process, and she understands what I'm going through. She can help me. So it's a great way to get into the head of your customers and communicate your message. Now, when you're speaking, and this is a great way to build relationships, it depends on where you're speaking. So today I probably could have invited a colleague, a client, a prospect, and have them come listen to me speak. And actually I spoke a month or so ago, and there was a gentleman who I'm talking to about having him hire me to speak at a conference. He came to hear me speak at that event. And now he's saying, you were great. Let's talk. Let's talk about having you speak. And that is where I will be paid to speak. So find out where you're going to speak. Is it appropriate for you to bring a guest? Then do it, because it's a great way, without a hard sell sales pitch, for your prospects to see what you're up to and what you're doing, and for them to see your knowledge and to see that you really know what you're talking about, and for you to increase your credibility with that person. So don't forget when you're doing that. Now, I asked, what do you speak about? For those of you who want to speak and you go, I'm not really sure. Here's an exercise. You write 2 lists. One list, what do you know about? What do you have knowledge about? Okay, is it banking? Is it energy healing? Is it financial? Okay, is it how to get a loan? But then, what are you passionate about? And the 2 might be the same. But for example, Tiffany's in transition. She might have things that she's passionate about. She was talking about to me earlier that she didn't even speak about when she stood up. So there are things that you're passionate about and things that you're knowledgeable about. Then, when you have those 2 lists, go back and score them on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest. The one thing that you're the most knowledgeable about. The one thing that you're most passionate about. And then look at the scores and see, oh, guess what? I gave that a 10 or a 9 or an 8. That's what I should talk about. And you can look at the 2 columns and see what has the 2 highest scores, and maybe you can combine those, your knowledge and your passion, and speak about that. So that's one way to figure out, what is it I want to talk about? Then we're going to kind of go through this quickly, because somebody mentioned marketing is social media. Social media marketing is actually more than this. Social media marketing is blogging. It is photo sharing. It's press release submission. It's article submission. It's video sharing. And then we have something called social networking. And that's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, you name it, they're out there, Periscope. So people say to me, what do I do? This is too overwhelming for me. So the first thing I say is, where are your people hanging out? Where are your target audience hanging out? And actually, if you go to my blog, I just wrote a post this week about where is your audience socializing, and there's an infographic there that lays out by age where people are going. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. Most of them, as you could probably imagine, where do you think they're going?
Facebook.
Facebook is the one. Okay. I get a lot of engagement on my Facebook personal profile, and believe it or not, it's with a lot of my business colleagues more than my friends and family. Because a lot of my business colleagues are all into marketing, and they understand the value of engagement, and we're building relationships. I now get referrals from people that I don't know personally in terms of face-to-face, but I've met them on Facebook. And then, the beautiful part, when you go someplace and that person walks in the room and you go, Kate, oh my God, we're Facebook friends. you get to meet, and that takes the relationship on a whole nother level. So don't be afraid of social networking. Now, here's the difference. This is my definition, because people ask us, Facebook. To me, that's the barbecue. It's relaxed, it's laid back, maybe you're in your flip-flops and your shorts, you're talking about mostly personal stuff, but you throw in a little bit of business every so often. And this, we're talking about your personal profile. Then you have Twitter. To me, Twitter's the happy hour. It's the bar, it's loud, it's noisy. You have to talk in short bursts and get your message out there quickly. And then you have LinkedIn, which is the cocktail party. LinkedIn is the largest professional network. There's right now over 360 million people on the network. So for you, if you're doing business, it's a great place to network. And I talk about it in the book. It's a great place for lead generation. But LinkedIn, like networking in person, means getting involved. I do a lot of one-on-one consulting with people on LinkedIn. And they go, I put up a profile, but nothing's happening. Well, nothing will happen unless, one, you have a robust profile, means you've really filled it out and used keywords, by the way, to enhance your profile. And then you get involved. How many of you get LinkedIn invitations from people you don't know? Most of you. What do you do when that happens?
Accept.
You ignore it?
Depends on which LinkedIn account I'm in.
Depends.
Accept it.
You accept it automatically?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Hold the numbers for it.
Accept it and message them.
Accept and message. Here's a little tip along those lines. When I get a LinkedIn invitation from someone I don't know, and by the way, this is the biggest mistake people make on LinkedIn, is they don't personalize the invitation. So what you want to do, if you do want to connect with someone, I invite you to do a little homework assignment. When you leave today, go to my LinkedIn profile and hit the connect button and send me a personal message saying, Debra, I heard you speak at the Referral Partnerships this morning. I loved what you had to say, and I'd really like to connect with you. But when you get that invite and you don't know the person, go to their profile. First, see if it's somebody you want to connect with, because you'll find out information, and maybe you'll see nothing there, which is a sign. But then you can go to the invite and hit reply, but don't accept. And this is a way you start a conversation and you start engagement. What I do is I say, Jack, thanks for that LinkedIn invitation. I'm just curious though, were you referred to me by someone, or were you simply searching LinkedIn? It really helps me to know how you connected with me. I look forward to hearing from you. Here's to your sweet success. I send it off. If Jack responds, now we're having a conversation. Now we're starting a relationship. And then I will accept his invite. And then I will respond to him. If Jack doesn't respond, it means to me one of two things. He sent me an invite because he's just building his numbers and wants to say he has more than, 1,000 friends. Or he's not really using LinkedIn all that much. Maybe he happened to be on that day and my face popped up as somebody you might want to know, and he hit that button. And by the way, when that happens and you hit the connect button, you won't have the opportunity to personalize your message. So always go to the person's profile and hit connect from there. That's a whole nother session we can do. But we're running out of time here, so I want to make sure that I keep this short and sweet. For those of you who have something that you want to promote, it's important that you build a community. So for example, when I wrote my book, actually before I wrote the book, or while I was writing the book, I was going through cover design. Well, I put this on Facebook, and I asked my friends, which cover do you prefer? I had probably 200 people comment and share or like. So I was building a community around my book, which is a great way to start building that buzz. And I think that's the next slide, is to create a buzz around your book or your product or your artwork or the homes that you design. Okay? Build a community with them. Create a buzz around it. And then you can see these are all people who received my book and posted these photos on Facebook. So I was building a community. I took images. For those of you who like to create, visuals are very important on social networks. You can, if you have an iPhone, one of my favorite apps is called Word Swag. You take an image, these are quotes from my book, and it has different fonts that you can use, and create these beautiful images and post them. Then you get reviews, testimonials. Again, I created these images and posted this on social networks. Now, for those of you who have a book or have artwork or have something that you want to promote, this is a great tool. It's called Thunderclap. So I launched my book online, and by the way, it's thunderclap.it as opposed to thunderclap.com. And it's similar to crowdfunding, but you're not asking for money. It's called crowd speaking. It's actually called a flash mob online, where you turn to your friends, and here's what I did. I said, I'm launching my book. Would you support me on Thunderclap? On the right, you'll see I had 130 supporters. Because of those 130 supporters and their social reach, I had a reach of 1.4 million, of over 1.4 million, on a certain day and a certain time. So this blue box that you see was a message that people agreed to send out, and they didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was go to Thunderclap and say yes, and I'll show you the slide that shows you that. So Thunderclap is great for musicians, artists, event organizers, for authors, for fundraising, all kinds of things you can do on Thunderclap and basically get people. This image went out with that message on April 16th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, out to 1.4 million people, because people went to Thunderclap and supported me. And here's the image. So if you said, yes, Deborah, I want to support you, you get to this page. It says support with Facebook, support with Twitter, or support with Tumblr. And once you click that button, Thunderclap programs your message to go out on a certain day and a certain time that I have chosen. So if you have an event, or if you have a book, or if you have artwork, or if you have architectural designs, or if you have a home and you want people to spread the message, obviously you don't do this with everything that you do. I did this with my book. I don't go back then and ask all those same people again to promote something else. You need to use it sparingly in a way that helps you. And also you want to let your friends know that you'll help them. So as a result, my book was in the top 10 on Amazon because of that social reach that I had. And that, to me, was one of the most cost-effective. That actually, they have a free version, but if you don't get 100 supporters, they don't send it out. If you pay $45, no matter how many supporters you get, they'll send out your message. So then you're creating what I call the most effective marketing that is. And anyone have an idea? I bet you do, because you're all in this group. Referrals, close, it's the same thing.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth is the most cost-effective advertising that you can have. Because when somebody, as I go back to know, like, and trust, then that word gets around. Tiffany is here this morning because she said she has something she wants to pursue, but she has to get her message out. And Jackie said, you need to get your message out, come to this meeting. Okay? Because the more you connect with people, the more you build those relationships, the more you get that word of mouth. So my offer to you today is, if you want a report I call The Secret to Connecting and Engaging with Your Prospects, it's yours with my compliments at rightdirection.com. That's W-R-I-T-E, rightdirection.com. And if you want a copy of the book, we have them here today, but I will also be doing a book signing in Lodo at City Stacks Books on August 1st. Now, I ask, if you enjoyed my presentation today, I work by referral. So I'm also going to tell you that I will give away a book to anyone who fills out this form and hands it in. We'll do a drawing. I'll give some out here. I would love your feedback. And we'll do a drawing after it's handed back to me, and you can get a copy of the book. Maybe you'll be the lucky winner. I want to thank Jackie again for having me here as her guest. I'm open to any questions. If you have them, feel free. If we have time, let me know. Do we have time for that? Okay. Anybody have a question? Jackie?
You spoke about buzz. Is there some more that you could give us about that?
Creating the buzz? Mm-hmm. Well, the more that you get out there, the more that you get your message out there, the more people will start to talk about you. So, Jackie, you said you bought my book. You contacted me and said, would you come speak? Yesterday, I did a book signing in Lakewood for a group called My Chamber, Colorado. The reason that happened is a gentleman heard me speak somewhere else, bought my book, loved the book, and said, Deborah, would you come do a book signing? So the more that you get your message out there, in terms of doing it offline, that's one way to do it. The way that you do it online is one way that I just showed you. And it talks about ways that you can build that community if you have something really special. And it takes just going out there sometimes and asking people. You know, I was, with my book, for example. That was one thing that was really hard for me, is to go, I'm going to do this Thunderclap campaign. I need to ask people to support me. What if I don't get 100 people? You know, I was really nervous. But fortunately for me, I have a community. You have a community. You know, and that's one of the beauties of getting involved, is building those communities. So when you reach out, not everyone will say yes, but I was hoping to get 100 supporters. I got 130. And that's only because of the community that I built. And some of the people that supported me, I've never met. Some of my biggest supporters on that Thunderclap campaign, one woman whose image was up there, she has 300,000 friends and fans and followers. She's a very big social networking person. We've never met, but she supported me. And it was because of that community and the buzz that was being built by posting photos with the book even before the book was out. Anybody else have a question?
How do you propose time management? I mean, we've talked about the social media aspect of everything. Most of us in here are small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spend all day dealing with your social media to get the word out, you don't have time to do your actual work.
So, Gordon, how much time out of your day are you taking to be here this morning?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half. So, one day, you sit down for an hour. Or, here's what I do. In the morning, before I start my work day, that's when I'm doing social networking. In the evening, when my day is over, that's when I'm... Now, occasionally, I have to admit, this isn't a 12-step program, but I am a Facebookaholic. Okay? So, and I have to do that because I'm on Facebook. The ones I use the most are Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But I am on Google+, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on YouTube. I'm actually tomorrow hosting a colleague who's doing an Instagram webinar, and she's trying to convince me I should be doing Instagram. But you have to, again, choose what works best for you, where your audience is and where you like being. If you don't like doing it, you're not going to do it, or it's going to feel like a chore. So you really have to manage your time. And you can set a timer. I have a colleague, she sets 5 minutes. She does, and she does LinkedIn, and she goes on for 5 minutes, goes to her homepage, likes things, comments on things, shares, and when the timer goes off, she's done. So you have to find out what works for you. Maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's 20. And like I said, for me, I get a little wrapped up because I have a lot of colleagues that we do engage. So pick a time that works for you. Set that time aside. And then make it part of your business plan. It's part of your marketing strategy. And when you find that, like I do, like I said, I find, I might be on there, oops, 2 hours just went by. But I do it first thing in the morning, so I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm off. And if people are private messaging me, I'm saying, I'm sorry, I gotta get off Facebook now. I have Facebook on my phone, but I don't have the private messenger turned on, so that I'm not interrupted with that. So you have to know your limitations. You have to know what works well for you. You have to know how you are, because it's easy to get sucked in, especially if you like it and you're having fun with it. Thank you for that question. Anyone else have a question? Great. Well, then I think we have time. I would love it if we have time once your meeting is done. If Rob is willing, if you enjoyed today's presentation, do a quick video testimonial, because as you probably know, video is very important. So if Rob is willing to do that, stand in front of the camera, 10-second video about how you enjoyed today's presentation. That would be fabulous. And thank you for having me here today.
Thank you.